Hey YouTube world, I am back with another video. Today I want to talk about 10 bags that I bought in 2023 and immediately returned it and or sold it because I couldn't return it. And as I've said this before, it's an evolution of buying bags that might work for us or might not work for us, right? There's certain things that you can only do so much research online, whether it's looking at YouTube videos or the pictures, right? But when you actually receive them, you're just like, okay, this is not gonna work out for me. So I kind of just wanna give you my thoughts and opinions on why some of these bags didn't end up working out for me. So let's just get right into it. So the first bag I still have in my possession, and some of these bags you probably have seen the unboxing or reveal, and if you haven't seen those videos of me doing the initial unboxing, I'll make sure to link them down below for you and the cards up top. But this is the Pinko bag that I bought most recently actually, and I really like this bag, and I figured I was just going to use this as kind of a be-around bag, but then it's really pretty. And I know my friend, I actually am selling this one to my friend. I'm not making any money off of it, just giving her this bag for what it actually cost. I've been helping my friend, Nora, if you're watching this, with her bag journey. She had recently purchased my Prada from me, and she is loving that bag. So of course, me being the instigator, I'm just like, you need another bag to your collection. So obviously this is a really, cost-effective bag in my opinion. For me, I'm just like, I like it, but I don't love it. And I know she's been looking, I introduced this Pinko brand to her, and I know she's been eyeballing it. We actually went to the Pinko bag or Pinko store in Soho when we hung out together. And she's just like, I'm really liking this. And she has a new obsession with birds. So I know she's got 2 cats, so she can't, I don't know if having a bird as a pet would work out, but this is a nice way to demonstrate her personality and what she likes, right? And so I figured, hey, I hit her up asking her if she would like it. She's like, okay, twist my arm, right? And this is a really not cheap bag, but it's a cheaper bag. It's not like $2,000 or whatever. So this is going to new home with my friend who is going to use this to its fullest potential. So that's the first bag that I am immediately letting go of. All right, the second bag I don't have with me because I already returned it. It's the little Niffler bag. I was really excited about the design and the aesthetic of it because I feel like kind of different. But if you've seen that video, I ripped that bag to pieces because it was just horribly constructed. The glazing, the details of it, and the raw materials, just everything about that bag was just awful. And that's something, again, I learned, right? Just because it's made in Italy doesn't mean that it is well constructed. The quality control on that bag is just terrible. And that's not something I would have found out via pictures or anything like that. I saw a couple of reviews, but nobody ever really said, unless my standards are just absurdly high or whatever, but I think it's pretty basic for the glazing to not have holes in there, and certain hardware should not just look like it was just slapped together or like 2 pieces of leather glued together by someone like me who is, not a leather expert or anything like that, right? So that immediately went back to Louisa Roma, where I purchased it from. I lost money on the shipping, but again, it was a $300 something bag. It was good to just go ahead and return it. The return process was very easy, very seamless, so no complaints there. But yeah, just go watch that video. It is insane how they are able to have these bags produced and out for sale. I mean, that's just kind of unacceptable for the price range that they're setting it at. The third bag is the Loro Piana. So again, I purchased that not too long ago at Last Chance. The bag itself was very well constructed. I got a really nice deal. It was final sale, so I couldn't return it, but I immediately sold that bag. And the bag itself, I feel like the hype is, it is the replacement or the new Hermes Mini Kelly. It's not. Yes, it fits more. It's actually much more functional, but the construct of the bag, it just looks like a cosmetic pouch with a strap on it. It's not special enough for me to feel like, hey, this should be part of my collection. And I'm really happy that it went to a new home where the new owner is going to love it and use it. The fifth bag I want to talk about is going to be the Salmon Luna. I bought that from eBay, and I was in the hype of, you know, I think that has died down a little bit. Tell me in the comments section if you think that Salmon is still a hot brand. I think that has kind of weaned off a little bit, but Salmon, the Luna bag, I thought it was adorable. And of course, me being trying to be deal savvy, I bought one off of eBay for like, I don't know, $80 or $100. I can't remember, but it turned out to be a fake, and it was a horrible fake. So again, I'll link all those videos that I did the unboxing for you up above and below. And basically, it looks really nice in the pictures, but when I received it, the flap, the opening of the enclosure, the flap, when you closed it, it was just completely like wavy. And there was no way it was gonna sit flush, even if you like weighed it down to make sure maybe it got damaged during transport. But it was a fake bag. So I immediately, you know, reached out and put in a claim with eBay, and they refunded my money, which is really funny because we're asked for a return, and the seller was like trying to negotiate with me saying, okay, well, if we give you $20 off, will you keep the bag? And then I'm like, no, I just want my full refund. And then they proceeded to do another like 2 rounds. Okay, will we take another $20 off? I'm like, no, just stop. Give me my money back, or else I'm going to open an official claim instead of just doing a return. They're like, okay, just keep the bag. We'll refund you the full amount. So this is not a knock on Salmon themselves. I ended up buying a replica bag that I thought was just a used bag. But yeah, so again, can't speak to the Salmon quality. They've got great, unique designs. I hope they do take off like Polen did, but I think it has died down a little bit. The next bag I wanted to cover is going to be the Tom Ford Tote. And this is something I bought from Neiman Marcus when it went on sale. I was pretty excited because I have like a new obsession with pink bags. And when I received it, it was a gorgeous pink. It was a really nice tote, but I ended up returning it pretty quickly because the tote itself was fine. It's canvas and everything, right? So I'm not worried about that portion of it, but the leather trim that went around the actual tote along with the handles, it felt very cheap and plasticky. And it was supposed to be a used bag or a new bag, and I can see that the paint from the pink leather trim or the handles already started flaking and chipping. So again, this could be a floor model. I don't know, because when you buy from Neiman Marcus, if they have it on their floor, they might just grab it and send that one to you. So it has been handled, so to speak, by customers around the store, which I completely understand. But technically, it hasn't been used unless somebody already bought it and then returned it and it's been kind of used. But the bag itself looked brand new. So that speaks to the quality of that bag and the longevity of that bag. So I saw that, I was like, even though it was under $1,000, which is a pretty good deal for Tom Ford, I was like, I'm not willing to spend, you know, let's just say it was $800 on a bag that's gonna start looking pretty crappy after a couple uses, right? So, and another thing that really put me over the edge with immediately returning that bag was the strap. The strap, it was called a T-screw. So I think that has to do with like how the longer strap that came with it was screwed onto the actual bag. It just was incredibly odd and very unfunctional because it kept twisting around and there's no flexibility. And the strap was really thick. So for you to not use the strap, and it's not detachable. So when you want to use it as a top handle, you put the strap in the bag, right? And it just takes up so much space. So I was just like, okay, this is not a functional bag. If the strap was like attached using the traditional like lobster hook or like a D-ring or whatever, then I think it would have been fine. But it is built into the actual bag itself. So there's no way for you to attach it, and then it just took up so much space. So I immediately went back to the Neiman Marcus store and returned it. So I was very happy with that decision. The next bag I want to talk about is my Chanel Surf Tote. I think I bought this actually in 2022, but I did sell it in 2023. I used the bag maybe once, and it wasn't special enough. Yes, it is a Chanel tote, and it's very subtle, you know, quiet luxury or whatnot, but it just had the CC logo in front, and that was it. There's nothing really that spectacular about it. So I was originally going to use it as a work tote. The top handles weren't long enough for me to put over my shoulder. The strap is pretty long, and I also had my Prada tote. So I was just like, do I really need 2 of the same kind of bag that doesn't really have that really had the same limitations in terms of the top handle not being able to put over my shoulder. So there's not too much to talk about it. So I basically just turned around and sold that bag immediately. The next bag I want to talk about is my Hermes Garden Party. That one, I was excited because it was a really, well-priced bag for being pre-loved, and I immediately sold it. I don't think I ever used it once. I was in front of the mirror and I was just holding it. The thing about garden parties is that it is just one tiny little, you can only wear it one way, crook of your arm. But for a size of that bag, you should be able to use it multifunctionally. If the handles were long enough, you can at least put it over your shoulder, because the bigger ones that you get, the handles are still relatively small. So for me, for a bag that looks very utilitarian and like a work bag, for it to just be worn across on the crook of your arm, it just wasn't going to work out for me. So I decided to sell that one pretty quickly since it was bought pre-loved. It's not like I could return it, right? I will say, definitely will not be ever purchasing a Hermes Garden Party in the future. So the next bag I want to talk about is the Chanel single flat bag. And I think I purchased this in 2021, and I sold it pretty quickly. So I'm straying a little bit more than just 2023 of the bags I sold and returned or immediately returned and sold. But this one I didn't even use. It was a really cute bag, and I forget what it's called, but I'll insert photos for you. But this one, I don't know why I even bought it. I think it was during the height of all people just trying to buy luxury because we have nowhere to go. And this particular bag, I'm not a silver hardware person, right? Especially when it comes to Chanel. There's very few bags that I will go for silver hardware, and for a couple $1,000 bag, that is not something I wanted to compromise. The bag itself is actually pretty cute. It's very unique, but I was just like, okay, I totally should not have bought this bag. So buyer's remorse, never used it, and immediately, pretty much after a couple months of not even touching it, I sold the bag, because I'm the kind of person that if you're not gonna use the bag, just sell it, right? So the other bag that I want to talk about is the Lady Dior. The Lady Dior, the one in the caramel that is still for sale. I wanted to include this just to make this a nice round number. I'm deciding to sell that bag because of the opening. Again, I won't talk too much about it, but if you haven't seen that video, my biggest gripe with that bag, it's a gorgeous bag. If I have to use it, I can, but I'm just gonna let it go. It is the opening that bugs me. The opening of the bag is just like, you're reaching in there, you're stirring around the pot just to try to find what you have in your bag, and then you have to pry it open. So that's a bag I'm deciding to let go of. All right, so let's round this up with the bag that I think you are going to be very shocked that I immediately returned. It is the Hermes Her Bag. I bought this from Hermes directly, and because if you buy it online, you can actually return the bag. It's not like in the boutique where if you do return a bag, it's a store credit. You actually are able to get the full amount back on your credit card. I decided to return the Her Bag because it was just so hard to open and close. The leather of the bag is super stiff. And I think on top of that, with the particular hardware that I chose is even bigger than the regular palladium or gold hardware, it was impossible. It was impossible to open it and impossible to close it. And I only opened and closed the bag maybe 2 or 3 times. And I was just like, okay, this is gonna drive me insane for such an expensive bag. I cannot keep this. And I even bought an insert for it ready to go. So this is past like the return policy, so I'm just gonna keep this insert that I bought specifically for the bag. It's a nice insert. I got this on Etsy, and I like how it's like the satiny, not the felt. So I'll figure out what to do with this. Maybe either sell it or just try to use it in one of my other bags. But yeah, that one had to go back just because I like it, but I don't love it, especially when it's a pain in the ass to use. So that wraps it all up. I hope this was helpful, giving you my thought process of what, yes, I've been buying bags for over 10 years, But to this day, you are still in the mode of trial and error of what would work for you and what, you know, wouldn't work for you. So whenever my advice to you is whenever you are purchasing a bag that you, even if you think it's like a no-brainer that you're going to keep the bag, always check the return policy so that in any event that you are not happy with the bag or it just wasn't what you expected, that you have an option to bail, basically, to return the bag, to get rid of it, and you understand, you know, what the return policy of where you're buying it from. And if there is no return policy, it's final sale, just be aware of that so that if you do want to let go of the bag, you can start the necessary process to resell it or send it to a consignment store or whatever it is. So just be really aware of that. So I hope this was helpful. Like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I've been releasing a lot of videos talking about my thought processes, my lessons learned, and of course talking about big luxury as well as, you know, indie brands. Come back and check out some of the other videos that I have released of all the bags that I talked about down below. Life is hard. I want to help you save time and money so that you can somehow adult easier and hopefully less than retail. I'll see y'all next time.